Hi everybody! Today I want to briefly introduce BigQuery, which is a tool inside the Google Cloud Platform. I want also to share some functions that I found very useful when working with BigQuery. I hope that these functions can help also you in your daily queries. So don't miss the video and don't forget to smash the like button. So Google Cloud Platform is a platform provided by Google, which offer different cloud computing services that run on Google infrastructure. Indeed, Google has a huge amount of fiber networks, data centers, servers, and storage devices around the world. To have an idea of the tools offered, we can take a look at the platform. As you can see on the screen, we are already inside my account. Indeed, to access Google Cloud Platform, you need an account. If you are new, there is this option to have a free trial, where you are given $300 to spend in the platform in 90 days. The only thing is that you need to give your credit card, however, the money will not be taken unless you explicitly give the consensus. This is the option I'm using for the tutorial. So to look at the tool software, we can go here on the top left corner where there is the main menu. Here you can see that we have some tools for develop app, for storaging data, and for networking and so on. Today we are particularly interested in the section of big data where we can find BigQuery. Note that there is also a section for artificial intelligence. So let's go inside BigQuery. First of all, what is BigQuery? BigQuery is a data warehouse where you can store exabytes of data and perform SQL queries in petabytes of data very fast. So it is a great tool for big company which has a lot of data. Some other advantages are that you can perform real-time analytics on streaming data. It is easy to be scalable and it is serverless. So the process is automatically distributed in several machines working in parallel. And you don't need to specify which server hardware to use. Let us take a look at the interface of BigQuery. First of all, here on the top, you can see in which project you are working. It is very important because every project has its own billing account, API, and also it is specified which user can access to the project. Here, if you click on the name of the project, you can see that this is the name and this is the ID. Inside every project, of course, we can put data. As you can see here on the bottom left corner, this is my project, and inside I have this food delivery that is a dataset. A dataset is a container where you can put queries and table inside it. As you can see, if we click on this, we see that we have two tables. So to put the data for this tutorial, I simply upload two CSV files. Indeed, first I create this dataset and then I went here where there is this plus sign, and here you can decide how to create data, and one option is to upload the data and choose a CSV format. Okay. Another interesting thing is that here we have some options that can help us when we work with BigQuery. I found particularly useful this query history option. If you click on this here, then on the bottom appear all the queries that you have performed in the past. For every query, you can see if the process has ended or if there was some problem, that are these two signs, green and red. And if you click on the query, you can see all the details about the query. That is the text you wrote and also the time, how much it lasted, the bytes, and so on. Then the other important part is here on the center we have the query editor. That is where we are going to write our queries now. For this tutorial we will pretend to be working for a food delivery company, and in this first part of the video we are going to use just this table here, orders, that contains all the details of the orders of our clients. Now I'm going to show you some useful tricks in order to access the information contained in this table. So if we click here on the table, we can see in the schema that we have 5 columns, and 3 are integers and 2 are strings. And if we go to the preview section, we can actually see some rows from this table. So now I'm going to explain you what you can find in every column. We have this first column here called order ID, where there is an integer that is a unique identifier of the order. In the column customer ID, we have again an integer that is a unique identifier of the customer who did this order. In MSTS, that stands for millisecond timestamp, we have the information about when this order was made. And here we have represent the time in UNIX time in millisecond. That is, these are the milliseconds that have passed since the 1st of January 1970 UTC. And this is a standard way to represent time in computers. In the column payment, we have some information about the payment of the customer. You can see that the information seems to be saved in a JSON format, because you can see these curly brackets and these semicolons and so on. And we know if the customer has given some tips and which type of credit card he has used, if a Visa or a MasterCard. Finally, in the column promotion, we have some information about the promotion used, if a promotion was used. And the information here seems to come from like a list, because we see that we have different information separated by a comma, and the first one is the name of the promotion, then this letter here represents the type of the promotion, and finally we know how many dollars were discounted thanks to this promotion. So the first task we want to do is we want to see for every promotion how many time was used. So first we have to access to this table. One quick way is to click here in query table, and this will open in the query editor already a select from. And here, this is the correct way to access a table. That is, write the project, the dataset, and the name of the table, and then in brackets. And otherwise, you can find this also in the details section. The only thing is that here you find a semicolon, but here you have to write with a point. And finally, if you are accessing data from the same project that you are working here in, then you can also omit the name of the project and the brackets, like this. Okay, so now we have to access our information, the information we are interested in, that is the promotion. So we are going to use the function split. Okay, this function takes 2 arguments. The first one is the field that we are interested in, that is promotion. The second is the character that we want to separate the string by. What does it mean? That here, if we give the comma, it means that we want this string here, the string of promotion, to be separated according to the comma. All the elements between the commas will become part of an order list. This is a specific type of BigQuery that is called array. So let us take a look. So we take just the first 10 rows, and we see that what we get is this array, that is this order list. And we see that what we are interested in is the first element. It is the name of the promotion. We can access the first element using the function offset. So between square brackets, we write simply offset and then 0, because the function offset starts counting from 0. Now we can call this field promotion, and we can group by promotion and count how many rows we have for every promotion. So we use a group by, and here we can simply do count asterisk. And notice that if in your data you have some duplicated, so you can't actually count the rows, you can also use count distinct, and here you can write the name of a field that is unique for every observation. So in our case is order ID. Okay, now we run the query. Okay, so we get our information, we have the promotion and how many times was used. Notice again here we have this F0 because we forget to give a name. So here we can write like quantity. Okay, now we are ready to go to the second task. That is, we want to know for all the orders if the customer has given or not the tips. In particular, we want to know how many times the tips was given and also the percentage. So first things we have to access this information. So let's see how we can do it. This time what we have to use is a function called JSON extract. Okay, this function again takes 2 arguments. The first one is the field we are interested in, that is payment now, so payment. And the second is the JSON path that we want to access. So the JSON path is given between, we have to start with the dollars, that is the root, and then we have to write the name of the children's. In our case, we want to have the information under tips, so we simply write tips. Okay, now let's see, for example, the first 10 rows, what we get. Okay, here you see that we have the information. We have no, if because the customer didn't give a tips. Now we want to find how many times the tip was given and the percentage of time that the tip was given. In order to have these 2 information in just one query, we are going to use the if clause. In the if clause, you have 3 arguments. The first one is a condition. In our case is if this information is equal to yes. Okay, notice that we can't simply write equal to yes like this, because for the way the data were imported, here we have that the quotes are part of the information. So here we have to indicate that we want to consider also quotes as part of the string, and we are going to use a slash, because since the quote are special character, the slash is used to indicate that to treat it as a normal character. Okay, we put so in the if clause first the condition, and then we put the value that we want to have if the condition is met, and the value we want to have if the condition is not met. So if we do like this, in this case for every row we will have 0 if the tip was not given and 1 if it was given. Now to know how many times so the tip was given, we can simply use a sum, because since it's 1 when it's given and 0 otherwise, the sum is the number of times it was given. And we call it as tips. Now, if we want to know the percentage of time that it was given, we can simply again take this expression and divide it by the number of the rows that we have. So using a count asterisk, and call this percentage. We can eliminate the limit because we don't need it. And if we run the query, what we obtain is the number of times that the tips was given and the percentage. So in 48% of times a tip was given. Of course, every time you can also put your query in order and so on to make it more comprehensible. Okay, now we are ready for the last task of today. That is, we want to know the last time of a customer if he has used a Visa or a MasterCard. So we have to consider all the customer that were here in orders, and we have to see in the last order they have made if they have used a Visa or a MasterCard. Now I'm going to show you the way to do it in just one query. So we are going to use a function that is called array aggregate. First, we need to have the information of the customer ID, and then we are going to use array aggregate. Okay, in this function takes as the first argument is the information we are interested in, so the expression in our case is this here, so the type of credit card. So we can access it again using the JSON extract function. Extract, we go with the field that is payment, and then we indicate the JSON path that is credit card. Okay, now we have an optional argument that is that we can indicate how to order the information. Indeed, this function can take a set of values and can order in an array, and you can specify with the expression order by the way you want to order. So we want to have the credit card used for every customer, order by time, so MSTS descendant. Okay, descendant, so the first one in the list will be the most recent one. Okay, here it gives you error because for this function we need to have a group by. Okay, because this first field was not grouped by anything, so it gives you an error. So here we group by customer ID, and we have for every customer a list with all the credit cards this customer has used. We can take a look. Okay, here we see, okay, this customer ID has used the Visa these 2 times. This one I used the Visa and a MasterCard. So now, if you want to know the type of card that this customer has used the last time, we simply have to use here the offset function to take the first element of the array. So offset, okay, offset 0, and yeah, as we could call it as last card used. And here we are. So I hope that you found useful these functions, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let me know what do you think in the comments.